Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus here again. Indeed, it is a pleasure to be here. But I tell you, it would be a great delight if I were able to come here today and say to you that the things that we've been talking about, the hopes and aspirations that we have been able to articulate, the dreams that we've had, that now the opportunity is here and we're going to be able to manifest those things. And going forward, we will see an expression of a life that's been changed, not just ours, but that for everyone. Man, that would be so great. And I'm telling you that would. But unfortunately, that won't be my conversation here today. In fact, my conversation will be sort of a repeat of the things that I've been saying for about 40 years. And you would ask yourself, why would a person have to speak truth, if it's truth, for 40 years and people reject it? Well, I guess it's because if you're living there, you gotta walk according to what is real to you. And if you're speaking truth, you have to walk according to it. And that means, here you are for 40 years or however long. And if it takes that long or longer, it means that the speaker is true and the people are true to its representation. But ladies and gentlemen, I didn't come to talk about that. What I really want to share with you is this. I saw on the social media, a animated pregnancy. It was about how a wonder is born. And I would ask each of you, if you get a chance to look it up, it was on YouTube. It's an animated pregnancy, how a wonder is born. Now, the reason that it got my attention, because it took an egg. You know a little bit about the stuff. I know you know about as much as I do, and that is very little. And a sperm that comes together, and something happens that scientists have been trying to tell us about, but there are also things that happen perhaps that scientists don't even know. But in this animation, they get a chance to exhibit how the various systems that are a part of the human structure, how they are formulated, and how they move about, and how they grow. All of these different systems, ladies and gentlemen, in this house, in this one body, taking care of various functions that's supposed to keep this body strong and healthy and going through life. Wow! And somebody doesn't believe that there isn't a power that's responsible for this, that this crap just happened. Oh no, brother. If for no other reason, if you can see this and understand this or get some concept, it'll bring you back to the point that there must be a God. So ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to recommend that you would check that out. And you see, as I watch that video, I'm reminded about the society in which we live. All of the stuff that's going on, all of the cancerous and the divisive stuff, the stuff that leads to death, the chaos, the expressions of love and generosity that is here and there, the kindness that can be displayed, the conversation that goes forward, and the type of actions that follows, whether it's fake or real or just a bunch of crap. All of this stuff is in this making, is in this mixture. And I can see this as being just like that pregnancy. I can see things taking place that would create, out of all of this, individuals would have, magnificent spiritual love that is expressed in how they speak and act in relationship to the human race. And it appears to me that the purpose of that is to actually grow right here in the midst of this. This is how you get your education, in the midst of this hell, to me. And to the point that when your mission here is over and you have succeeded, someone who perhaps is responsible for what was taking place in that pregnancy was perhaps in charge of what's happening here. And on a given day, as it said to that 9-month fruition, born, and to that last time when you take your last breath here, born into a different world, A world where there is peace and prosperity and freedom and joy, where you never have to worry about food, clothing, shelter, education, healthcare, and something to do, and anything that you can imagine happen. All of that is taking place because there are those that have learned how to act like instruments of God. Ooh-wee. Now, those are what I try to speak about when I'm saying the challenges that the world have today. Now, what are we saying? That those things, say for instance, I call this filth that prevents these kinds of things from happening. Crime and poverty, violence, and the things that's happening in our world today. But there are those who have accepted this as a way of life. Usually they are kings and queens and pharaohs and Caesars and presidents and prime ministers and Sallys and Sues and Johns and Henrys. All of us that go, whether we're in the leadership positions, where we're the ones that's just empowering it, or we're the ones who just sit back and hope for changes and empower it by doing nothing. Well, you see, ladies and gentlemen, when we think about the realities of the things that I've just expressed to you, this will give us some kind of insight into why the people who follow Donald Trump do so. You see, what is actually being said is that the system, understand this, ladies and gentlemen, the system has failed many people. Those that believe in Trump, the system has failed as well. Well, the system failed the natives. The natives, the people that they talk about who lived here before white people came to this country. The system, after the system was established, it failed. The promises that it made to the natives, they weren't materialized. It failed them. It might have worked for some. It failed the blacks. Oh, it failed the blacks. Promises were made. It still failed in the blacks. The system. I don't care how good the system is, how much we try to talk about it. The system of this democracy is constantly failing. It failed the people of color. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen? It failed white people as well. Now, all of these different people got different reasons about why they think the system failed, but nonetheless, it failed, and they got all these different understandings about why it failed because they're listening to different voices. And all of the voices are lying. And so when people believe in something new, it's because that what they believed in that was old has failed, and they're looking for something different. Now the people put their hope and faith in Donald Trump. Because why not? To them, nothing else has worked. And Donald Trump cannot deliver because he is as fake as everything else that exists on the face of the earth. Fake. Now, people are saying, well, let's look at democracy. Let's look at democracy. Well, when you put your faith in democracy, what do you really have? What do you really have happening? You are saying that you have accepted a system of government, perhaps, that even though some disagree, it is for the benefit of the masses that an action is taken, which by the decision of the makers of this system legitimizes it and says it's okay. And so that those that are left out have to come along to get along. And that's no different than a dictator to those. That's no different than an authoritarian system of government to those. And so when you have that for so long, then you have people who, for some reason or another, end up what January 6th. But that is not the solution. That didn't solve anything, and it's not going to solve anything. And democracy alone cannot fix that, because what that is proven to be is bigger than just stepping outside of democracy. That is evil. That is evil because it's spreading throughout the states within the United States of America with the sole purpose of taking power from the people, regardless of what democracy says, to take the power from the people and institute it into a type of system where people can be abused even more than today. And democracy, which allowed this to happen, can make all the promises that it want to make. But when we get to a point like we are in this period in time, we need something better. We got evil, and democracy cannot defeat evil. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, democracy cannot defeat evil. If you're serious about defeating evil, then you're going to have to make a step up into the arena of righteousness. Righteousness and righteousness alone is required to defeat evil. Now, what is righteousness? Righteousness means to treat everybody like you want to be treated. That's talking to you, the people. This is a decision that you, the people, make. That you, the people of the United States of America, or that you or you alone, it just so happens that there are a group of you, perhaps the United States of America, who have decided that there will be none that will suffer for lack of food, clothing, and shelter and education, as long as there's an ability for the people of this nation to utilize the resources of this geography. We will do what we have to do to make sure that each of us get a chance to engage our gifts to abet one another in life. And you mean it. And so whoever represents us with those basic principles and goals and objectives. And that's what we do for this nation. That's just doing the right thing. Right thing. Then those who are over there believing in evil will see the benefits of righteousness and dump that evil. They'll forget about lying and cheating and stealing because they don't have to. They see the benefits of treating people right. They don't have to talk about terror and war and racism and bigotry because they don't have to. Because they see the benefits of recognizing a power that's bigger than black and white and men and women and us, but a power that we can't see that is responsible for in that pregnancy, after that sperm, and after that egg, and something magical happened. And watch all of those systems blossom to create and establish a fantastic body that can walk on the face of the earth with spirit and life. And this is the representation that the people of the United States can exhibit to the world. And I guarantee you, those authoritarian nations out there, they will fall like flies in the... You know what I'm talking about. I say to you, ladies and gentlemen, I recommend that. Just as I recommend you watch that video, I recommend that you demand that the American people, that you yourselves and all of the American people and all of our institutions move a step higher into righteousness. And righteousness is doing the will of love that would allow each of us to walk anywhere without bending our head because we're ashamed. Why aren't we ashamed? Because we did the right thing and there's no shame in our game. Let's try that. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, this is Eddie Marcus saying bye-bye.